Hi, and welcome to Out of Spite, the show where LGBTQ plus issues are anything but out of mind.
Make sure you tune in every Wednesday Eastern Time at 2:30.
My name is Luna. My pronouns are they, them.
My name is Rain. My pronouns are he, him.
Hi, I'm Jade, she, her.
And you may have noticed that today we have a little bit of a different format than usual. We started this as a little bit more of a video thing. We're a podcast now. Coronavirus has pretty much ensured that. But in addition to ensuring the fact that we're a podcast now, we also have two new members. Would y'all like to introduce yourselves, starting with maybe Dan? Dan, do you live?
Dad, please. Warning,
Dan,
we're having
no.
some technical issues for the record because this is our first podcast, so please, bear with us.
Bear with us. Yep. Well then,
Okay,
Jane,
do
are
I
you
just
there?
introduce my
Yeah, you can do you.
Yes, please.
pronunciation?
Jane, come closer to the mic, please.
My pronouns are she, her, and
Oh no, you're
Oh,
cutting
jeez.
out, love. Jane,
yes,
Hi, now we can kind of hear you.
there you are. That's a little better.
yeah, she, her.
Okay, so, moving on from that, today we are gonna be talking mainly about, coronavirus. I mean, it's a huge thing, and it's been affecting our lives pretty heavily, and we thought it would be kind of awkward to just pretend like it wasn't happening. Like, it's definitely something we have to talk about. So,
Yeah.
how's it been affecting you guys' life? Like, what's going on?
Who would like to go first about this?
Can I go first?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. Like, it really stopped a lot of bags for me, like money wise. Like, I'm more of a freelance moneymaker, like art wise and selling work and like, going out to get my money. And for some reason, well, now we can't even go outside anymore. So that has really stopped it. It stopped a lot of like, you know, intimate ventures, like friends wise, and, being with people that I love. And, even though I'm an introvert, like, I'm not too bothered by being in this space by myself. It's just like, sometimes you just want to go outside and go get something to eat and not feel like you're going to get something that's going to put you in a hospital and probably put you on like a respirator.
True, that is
Yeah,
so.
definitely. I think you had like a lot of good points there. I want to like hit on them one by one. I think the first thing you said was like talking about like work and money. And that shit's real. Like I feel like I'm kind of lucky in that the Hendrik Martin Institute is pretty much supporting me, even despite the fact that we're all stuck at home. But I can't say the same for all of the people in my life. I do know like a close friend of mine has recently just gotten fired. No warning, no severance. They're just fucked, and it sucks that that's like a thing that's happening.
It really does. I felt that completely because it's like I personally I felt what James said. Like personally, I do work for people for like tattoos and stuff like that, and also like piercing and etc. And it's like I can't do that stuff because of the fact of people. I can't go outside, and like if I even put any like mark in somebody's body or whatever, they can be at risk of something and etc. Like piercings take time to heal and stuff. And not only that, my partner, his job is not paying him correctly, especially due to this coronavirus thing. Like stores are shut down, so like the way that they're paying their workers is really like not the best way because also they're also diminishing hours completely as well. So people are not able to pay certain things that they need to pay off or something, and people can't even go to places to pay what they need to pay, and it's like very much of a struggle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like from another like not my personal but a friend's view. One of my friends just like lost their job at a gym, because they had to shut down. Because obviously, hey, gyms where a lot of people show up, so like easy to transmit virus, and they are freaking out about paying off their student loans that will do nothing because of this stupid thing. It's like, yeah, don't care that you can't work, you still have to pay.
Oh,
Damn.
damn, that really sucks.
Yeah.
And our government definitely isn't doing enough to support us in that area either.
No, they ain't doing shit.
Not that I'm just saying what
It's
government we're
true.
talking about. It's not as if we're in the U.S. and we're talking about the U.S. government, but yes.
No, they're not doing anything.
Uh,
They're not doing anything to help us whatsoever. They're not spraying down the streets, cleaning our streets. They're not going door to door, giving us supplies and possible kits that could help us. They're not notifying anything. They're not doing anything. In fact, they'll only do something when you're at the severe case at like you have a fever, you can't even like move or function. That's like the only time the government will step in. They won't even give you a test. And I mean, I know there's not that many tests going around, but I mean, like, how many people work for this health shit and they can't even like do like work up on stocking up on more tests? Like, what the hell? This is a pandemic. Like, this ain't, we won't care about no check or nothing. Like, you're supposed to be helping us.
Not only that,
I mean,
but
our president is actively rejecting tests that were being offered to us. Like we were given tests, and he said, "No, I don't want them."
Yeah.
So like
not-
we're being intentionally fucked over.
Yeah, we are
not only
using
that,
these-
but they're limiting the test on the test on like many people. Like my friend recently, his family was like very much so quarantined because his brother had, gotten coronavirus, and they did not want to give him the test because they were like, oh, we need to use it for other people and etc. And it's like people upon like on the poverty line is very very much so at risk and like at risk, because like one, to pay for the test and stuff like that is very very much expensive, and if people don't have health care, that's a problem. And then people don't have the money to like financially to get the test stuff, and then it's not given out freely as well. So like people who are also like under the poverty line or like low income household, they're very much so like not taken care of or basically put to the side if they catch the virus or even is sick at all.
And there is a bit of a reasoning behind that, as much as it sucks. Like, Luna was right. We are actively rejecting tests from out of the country because we're only allowed to use the CDC made ones, the in-home, in-country built ones, which doesn't make a lot of sense considering our population is huge. They can't pump out enough of them, and that's why testing is limited to like only if you are sick and you are already in the hospital.
That's so ignorant.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
really is, honestly.
And aside from like the effects of like the illness itself, I think it also is starting to have like a pretty large effect on like our individual lives. Like Jane, you were talking about like how it sucks to not just be able to go outside or talk to your friends in person, not be able to give any hugs to people. You got the 6-foot rule. I think that's been pretty hard on people too. What do you guys think?
I agree.
I agree 10 out of 10 because I feel like it's been affecting us like since we're queer people stuff like it's really hard to be honest, especially when you're in a household where it might be toxic, and then also not only that, like being misgendered every 5 seconds and stuff really sucks, especially for your own mental health. Like even having no physical attention or like affection with your partner or such, or like whoever you love, and not being able to give that or even obtain that really hurts your mental health because it's sometimes it becomes when you're so used to something, it becomes a routine, and it becomes something that you need. It's basically something you need, and not being able to obtain that physical affection or any sort of like validation, and which we was able to gain at times in HMI and Hendrick Martin, gaining that validation and people using the right pronouns, etc. You become used to it. But when you're isolated and maybe in your family or in a household where you don't really obtain that validation that you wish you can have, it really like strikes someone's mental health, especially if some people have neurological disorders already, such as I. So it very much so the isolation worsens it because it makes me feel like more depressed, and it makes me feel like more like I don't want to do things and stuff because of the fact of like you try to, but it's like when you're not having daily routine of where you're at your comfort level, it very much so like striking the fact of like you're uncomfortable, you don't feel okay, and then your mental health just very much so declines.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I
Like-
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna, add on with the whole, with partners and such. It's like, Yeah, currently, I am in a relationship. It is like long distance and stuff. But I was planning on going there, like visiting my partner, but
Oh
I can't
no.
now.
That's awful. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I
I mean, not much we can do about it.
Yeah, I think what Rain was saying too, like I don't think I realized like how much I relied on HMI as a space to like be with the people I care about and like be
Hmm.
away from my family. Like I didn't realize how much that was like good for me until I had to be stuck home with my family.
Exactly.
And God, my family is they're very anxious people. So when they get trapped in together like this, they kind of just all start going at each other.
Hmm.
So
Yes,
it's like very tense, very uncomfortable. I'm being misgendered and dead named all day. It's like the
Oh
worst.
man.
I felt
I'm
that.
pretty much stuck to my room, or else I'll have to deal with them. And it sucks that those are my two like only options, for now. And I have two partners, so that's two people I'm not getting to hold and cuddle, and I miss hugging my friends. It's all a lot.
I sense that
But
completely.
yeah.
Like, I don't, sadly, I don't have the privacy that I would like to have in my own space. So, like, I'm like the fact that I'm the most dependent one. Um, so being called upon like 24/7 or being misgendered or being dead named 20 every 5 seconds, it's like, it's very much so something that bothers you. And it's something that, I kind of took advantage of while I was in HMI because I was able to get that validation that I'm not able to gain at home. And it's like, I would love to not be dead named, not be misgendered every 5 seconds, and stuff like that. But sadly, due to this quarantine, it does happen. And the thing is, it also happens outside too, which you don't feel as safe and aware because one, you're worried about catching something outside, or you're worried about
Mhm.
other thing, and it's like your mind is just so much like in constant state of emergency of your own self.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like extra focused on literally everything you do, everything you touch. It's like, hey, I have to hold this pole to not fly off the train. Is this going to be the end of me for it?
Yeah,
Right.
honestly.
Right. Right.
And there's so many little things I do like out of like force of habit. Like yeah, like sometimes I'll just like casually like grab the pole on the train and then be like, shit, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. No, I'm dead now. I'm going to die now.
Yeah.
And it's just like it just no, it's true though, isn't it?
It is true. It really is.
Especially with the like. So this is the perfect time to say, hey, you know what makes it even worse? The lack of basic cleaning supplies. I can't get hand sanitizer in any of the stores around me.
Me either. And the thing is like people have been brought to a point where we have to make our own hand sanitizer, and even
Mhm.
necessities to make your own hand
It's
sanitizer
gone.
is like it's gone as well. Like
Oh, of course.
I stocked up on aloe vera gel to make my own, but then again, the alcohol that I need it's very limited as well.
I think
Not to me.
I've noticed that a lot of supplies are limited, not just like toilet paper and hand sanitizer, but like I'm getting a little bit nervous about like medication in general, because
Right. Oh.
I think you can speak to that, Jade. Like, there are like several people in my life now who are like, oh, I'm talking to my pharmacies, and they're like, oh, we don't have your medication anymore. I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to wait. And I'm so scared.
Oh
And
yeah.
I
not
can't
only
even get my
that,
hormones. Like I can't even get my HT whatever. I can't even get it
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they're closed. They're all
and
closed.
I'm scared. I'm super scared because I was planning to start hormones around in May, and it's like, can I even do that? Because like, you have a plan and stuff, and like, it seems like that's going to be stopped because of the fact of this going on. And not only that, a lot of medication or medical products and stuff has been like brought up. Like it's because of like demand and etc. Um, the price gouging of the fact of like little like necessities and stuff has gone up over the top. Like literally, Gas X was like $5, and now it's like $16 for freaking chewable Gas X, and it's like, wow,
Oh,
this is so expensive.
oh, we have
For
a
no
comment
reason.
from our viewers,
Hmm.
Do it.
and this is from Cake Suds, and it's basically what they had said is, my family constantly have the news on. I can never escape the fear that surrounds the virus, and it sucks with my anxiety.
Oh my God, yes.
Absolutely.
My
No, go ahead.
my grandmother, she's a very, very, very anxious person. She's a very elderly person, right? And the thing is, she stays at home most of the time. She doesn't really go out, because she has a lot of, mental problems at the moment, and health issues, so she doesn't go out. But she keeps the news on 24/7, and it's like, keeping the news on is gonna make you more anxious, and it's gonna keep you more distraught and stuff. So why do you keep the news on? But she keeps the news on for like a long time, and then she calls my family and stuff, and is like, you gotta watch out for this and yada yada and this and that and the other, like that. And it's just like, it's constantly like, you always have to like feel anxious and stuff, and it's just like, and like the news is like always on as well, and like certain parts, like some of my family members wrote too. And it's like, please turn it off. Like, I don't want to hear that 24, because then I'm gonna get anxious, and then I gotta like watch out for everything, and it's like, it's very like unnerving.
Yeah.
And they do fear
I have a
mongering.
grandma that's the same. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if this is like a Hispanic thing only, but like, my grandma watches this channel called Alarma TV, which is literally just
My God.
like, it literally is just fear mongering, pure fear mongering. Like, that's all it is. It's just like, oh, today a puppy fell into the well and then it died, and then the next thing's like, oh, someone got hit by a motorcycle.
Or even
so now that it's like, yeah, and like now that it's like coronavirus, it's like intensified by 1,000. And I'm so glad that I don't have to be in the same room as her all the time. But my mom does, and I understand why she's going a little crazy. Like, I get it. Like, I'm happy that I don't have to be stuck in that. And my fucking partner's a journalist, so they're struggling as well. It's hard.
Oh jeez.
So yeah, I think something we also wanted to talk about was like xenophobia
Definitely.
and how that's cropping up. Rain, you want to start on that?
Yeah, I want to start on that because I'm part Asian and stuff like that, and it's me. I can't really say it's affecting me a lot, but it affects a lot of people who are surrounding me, like family members and friends and stuff like that are full. Me being part, I don't really like look the part to be attacked. You know what I mean? But it's like, when you're of the ethnic race, you do feel somewhat attacked, because it's like your ethnic race is being attacked for no evident reason that they have no control over. Like, I have a lot of friends that are, Japanese and stuff like that, full, and they recently came home over here because they were in school over there and stuff like that in Japan. So they are fearful going outside because of the fact of the xenophobia. Literally, there's people getting beat up, Asian people getting beat up or yelled at or being discriminated against, or even like denied services just because they're Asian. And it doesn't even help that Trump also says that this is called the China virus.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It doesn't help the xenophobia as well, because a lot of people, Asian, Chinese or not, are getting attacked. People getting sprayed with Febrezes on the train. People getting beat up, like teenagers and stuff that was not even born and raised in Asia and stuff like that. Was born and raised in America, getting beat up purely because of their Asian. And people are like, oh, you have the coronavirus, so it's okay, quote unquote, okay for me to harm you. Which I find it very, also the thing is, it's like also not only that, it's also minorities doing it to Asian people as well, which we're all minorities. So it's just like, it's very, I don't know if like hypocritical is like the word to use or something, but it's like very like not okay, because it's colorist.
Yeah. I think
like
that's word.
all, exactly, and we're all like minorities. So why are you doing that? First of all, we have a government that doesn't really like favors us. So why would you do it to other minorities? And that's something that very, very bugs me, and it like leaves me in a gray area, because it's like, I'm Black, also Asian, and then also Hispanic, and it's like having all these like ethnic groups go after each other, especially at my Asian ethnic groups and stuff like that. It's like, that's nowhere okay, and nowhere an excuse for you to harm another people just because of something that happened in Asia and stuff like that, and started in Asia, and now we have the China virus, which help even more, but it doesn't make it acceptable for you to treat Asian people with such little to no respect.
Yeah. Jane, are you back on the call? Jade. Whoops,
Oh,
my bad.
hello, yes.
Too many J's. Do you want to talk about your
Jeez.
experience?
Oh, my experience.
Too many J's.
Excuse me. Mine's a lot less terrible. Speaking about particularly the xenophobia, the last time I was on the train, I had to go pick up a check. Like, I had to do it. And I'm like half Asian, but I don't look it, which is really useful right now because some random dude on the train was like yelling at this Asian couple across from him, and literally he said it is like, I don't care who you are, I just don't like you because you did this. And it's like, what? They didn't do that.
Whoa.
It's not their problem. He like started a proper fight with them. Like the entire train was against him. He kept going. And people like that just love cropping up in like times like this where there are less people to police that kind of behavior. Where it's like, hey, you're being an ass, but no one is gonna call him out on it, so he's gonna keep doing it. And,
Oh, of course.
And like
Nobody-
yeah.
Nobody called them out on it.
Nobody said anything. A lot of us like stood up to like physically separate them, like the couple and the guy, but like no one could talk. And I feel like it's part of the bystander effect, which still exists, and also the part where you don't want to get into an altercation, like to an even higher degree, because of the whole coronavirus BS. It's like
Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
Scary.
I mean, personally, if I saw that, I mean, I was raised in like an environment where you are told not to like speak, you know, if something's happening on the train or whatever, anything like that, because you're disturbing others. But since coming over here and stuff like that, I've learned, like, you know, I could not let that happen because I feel like that could be one of my family members being attacked, you know? And it's like,
Yeah.
that's something that very much so irks me. And it's like, oh my God, like, it just, like, you know, it's just, I couldn't not, like, witness that and, like, not say anything about it because, one, okay, I might put myself in harm and stuff like that. I already know what I'm doing. But, I mean, I understand why other people would not be, you know, intervening, obviously, because their safety and also this virus is going around. You don't catch anything. But I got some gloves on. You're going to catch these hands. So, I got my gloves. I got my mask on. No,
You're goody.
I'm good.
Everyone, we have a question.
I'd like to say it. If it's
Oh, a question.
cool.
Well, we have a comment and a question. The comment is again from Cake Suds, and it was, my local Chinese restaurant had to close down due to the lack of business, and honestly, it makes me want to cry. They did absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry.
yeah,
That's
honestly.
so
It's not
sad.
in the food, people.
Oh,
Exactly. That's so sad. Like a lot of like my favorite restaurants and stuff has closed down as well. Like my favorite Thai restaurant, oh my God, they're closed, and I'm like, they're literally like by where I live at, and it's like, you know, I could walk there, go get my Thai food, and I'm like, I felt great for the day, but I can't even go there because even Chinatown is like, it's like the worst area right now. It's like, so it's abandoned. It looks abandoned.
Oh,
And, like all
man.
my favorite food places so closed. They're closed. And it's like they have no control over it, and also it's not food. It's not like here. It's not in the food or anything like that. Just because they have a large population of Asian people in that area does not mean that everybody has it. Stuff. So it's like it's really sad when you see like your favorite places or even like businesses have to go out of business because of this, and like people are just so afraid and scared of like catching it, especially because it's an Asian owned business or even Italian owned business at that too.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, our question was, do you think our president is putting us at risk by rushing the shelter in place to be done by Easter?
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Absolutely.
You want an explanation with that?
I mean, like, one, it's not, first of all, we're not, nothing is cured. We have not found, like, nobody's, like, we have people that are, you know, healing up from it and etc. Okay, cool, dandy. But, like, they have not, like, injected everyone with a cure to, like.
We are still in a pandemic. Like,
We are still, exactly, we are still in a pandemic. And for you to lift it up, right, for a holiday that not everybody celebrates. First of all, let me emphasize that not everyone celebrates Easter, okay? First of all, people can't.
there is an
even
assumption that everyone is just Christian, and it's stupid.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a Christian country.
Exactly.
Don't say that too loudly.
But it's
The white
not.
people get mad.
But it's not. Like, there's people who are Muslim, there's people who are Buddhist, there's people who are Hindu, there's people who practice other religions, and stuff like that, or don't practice religion at all. So it's like for you to assume that this country's Catholicism and all everybody's Christian is just absolutely wrong, you know, especially if we have so many people coming to the country from different, you know, races and ethnicities and stuff like that. You cannot assume that we all celebrate Easter, and for you to like just lift it up. And the thing is, he's only lifting it up because of, you know, the economy.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, it's not even because he uses the excuse as it's for the holiday and everybody can spend time with their family. But no, it's for your pockets. So let's be real.
Yeah. So to be fair, even if you focus on like the business aspect, it's a dumb idea. The whole point
Definitely.
is to let the stock market pretend things are fine, because you know the economy only works when people are working. You can't work during a pandemic because more people will get sick. And what they're not getting is like, if we open by Easter holiday and everyone groups up together, shit's just gonna crash even worse when everyone gets sick again.
Exactly.
Like there's this there I don't know what it's properly called, but like there's like waves of getting sick, right? Like
Airborne.
no, it's not because they're airborne. It's because like there's a bit of a period that you're asymptomatic, so like you're not showing symptoms even if you're infected.
Oh yeah, of course.
So like which is why we're,
That's
thing
why
is,
they
the
are asking
virus-
you to stay home 2 weeks.
yeah, which is
And not
yeah.
only that, the virus starts in your throat. You know, they say the virus starts in your throat. So it's like, no, having people close in group is like. First of all, you cannot. Okay, let's say if this really was because of the fact of Easter, people cannot go outside and enjoy their activities, their Easter activities, for this holiday. People cannot go to church. You know, people who are Christians or Catholic and celebrate this holiday, they cannot go to church. Why? Because that's a large group of people, and you're risking it. 1, 2, people cannot do their Easter egg hunts. Why? Because you're touching things, and it's a group of people. No. 3, you cannot have your little crack eggs, or you cannot have your little like egg runs or something. No, you're touching things, and it's a group of people. Like, do you not get it?
No, that's the whole point. They don't get. They look at it like, oh, it's over, so we're cured now. Like that's not the point.
And the thing is, like, I saw people on Facebook getting hype that the fact of like, you know, everything's gonna be like, you know, lifted and stuff. No, you should not be getting hyped. Stay your ass home. Stay home.
Yeah.
Like, just because it's lifted does not mean you should go outside. It's like there's something online that you can purchase, but that does not mean you should buy it. Like,
Exactly.
No. Stay home. Stay home as much as you can. If you need to run, the only reasons you should be leaving your home is like if you really direly need to run errands, you know what I mean? And then get your ass back home. And so that's it. Like, there's no reason for you to, like, people are hyped. And then the thing is, like, he's making people like, oh yeah, like totally, it's cool, it's okay. You know, people who are unformed and unaware of the actual issue, you know, it's very harmful. So it's like, no.
Not to mention people who like don't even like look at any other like outlet, like don't even do research, and they just take his word and it's like, all right, there we go, we're good, we're golden.
Yeah.
But that's
You're putting so many vulnerable people at risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to like interrupt the conversation. However, I want to be time conscious, and I also would like to possibly end the stream on a high note. I feel like it's important to talk about like kind of like the pros of the situation. Obviously, this is not a good thing, but like I feel like I've seen just as much nastiness out of humanity as I've seen some beauty as well. Like, just in the way that people have been trying to connect with each other despite the circumstances, despite, you know, the whole 6-foot rule. Like, I've saw, like, a video online of, like, a bunch of, like, grandmas in wheelchairs that, like, were coming out of their little apartments and, like, doing, like, playing bingo from, like, 6 feet away from each other. It was adorable. It was so precious. And I feel like there's been a lot of things like that. Have you guys seen any, like cute shit that people have been doing?
I mean,
No.
I was able to, I mean, personally, like, I've been seeing, like, the little challenge that people are doing with their families, like, certain, like, TikTok challenges and stuff like that. Like, you know, people doing the dance and stuff like that with their family, or even, like, you know, people doing, like, this poop prank on their, like, little ones and kids and stuff, just to, like, you know, make things a little bit more cheerful like that in the household, since, you know, you can't really do much, but, you know, you try to make the best of it, and that's what I'm happy that people are doing so. And also, like, people are even being more, you know, aware and being more, like, empathetic, and, you know, nice to other people, like going to like grocery shopping and stuff like that for elderly people, or doing errands for elderly people as well, and stuff like that. Like that's very nice. And not only that, but Animal Crossing, we're not, so please.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Animal Crossing is the
I feel like people are very much bonding over that.
Yes, Animal Crossing is out, and like you know, I have friends and stuff like that. People here in this group chat in this group and stuff, able to like, you know, bond over Animal Crossing, go to each other's islands and stuff, and try to relax and stuff. You know, we may not be able to walk on the beach outside, but we can certainly can walk on the beach in Animal Crossing. You know,
Animal
So-
Crossing is
Absolutely.
filling an outdoor hole in our hearts.
exactly, and I think that's what we need right now and stuff. And then people are able to maybe get certain projects done and etc. You know, like if they need certain work, people can focus on certain like hobbies and stuff like that if they would like to, you know, while they're quarantined, which is, you know, always a great thing, you know, to step up in your game or whatever, or like try to like, you know, do as much self-care for your own self, you know. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
a positive thing with this like quarantine, you know.
I've also seen a lot more art recently as well, like just
Yeah.
within like my community, like people have time, so they're just like, fuck it, let's make some art. I've seen a lot of my friends going like doing embroidery and sewing and a lot of really cool shit. And I'm like, yeah, fucking do it. I'm so proud of everybody, you know.
Mhm.
So like this sucks in a lot of ways, but there's you know, there's always an upside. I appreciate that.
And then even though if like not everyone has like the best home living and stuff like that, like, you know, there's always friends you can call up and that's always, you know, supportive and like if people do have, I've been seeing like people who do have supportive homes and families, you know, they've been able to have that bonding time with their, you know, siblings and stuff like that, or their grandmothers or moms or whatever type of family they have, you know, to bond with and have that fun. And like people's been doing game nights and stuff, or like, you know, dancing together or just dance and doing other type of activities, painting together. And it's like, you know, it's very nice to see that happening when it's like, you know, most people have busy schedules and it's like, you know, they're not able to have that happen.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, before we we can get back to like more positive things, but we do have another question, and that is, do you guys think Governor Cuomo is doing a good job of handling the situation?
No.
Yes.
I feel like he's trying his best. Honestly, I'm not even mad at him. I'm more mad at the president. I feel like he's trying his best versus De Blasio not doing.
So, yeah, if you haven't picked it up, we're New Yorkers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So De Blasio, he really did not want to close the schools down for the longest until Cuomo was like, no, you have to close the schools. What are you doing? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
Cuomo is trying to do his best because he's really worried about the elderly people. He's worried about everyone. He's like, you have a mother. He's like, you know, everybody has family and stuff like that we need to be caring about. Like, you know, he's been saying like very strong words and trying to figure out, as I feel like he's been doing like his hardest and stuff. And like, you know, during the time of this quarantine, like he's been trying to do the most for it, versus in other states I can't say the same because there's a lot of states where there's no quarantine happening, like nothing is shut down.
That's wild to me.
And I have a lot of friends who are currently having to go to work and their families are fearful for them because they're like, what if you get sick? And they're like, I have to go to work because I have to pay my rent, I have to pay my bills. So I feel like Cuomo's doing the best job as he can for this current situation and current pandemic, versus I can't say for other states. And then the president's not helping as much. And then De Blasio, I can't say the most for him. But Cuomo, I feel like he's doing his best.
Yeah, he's taken a proper response to a state that has how many people in it? Like we are dense.
We have a lot of people.
We have a lot of people, and we really needed to shut down way sooner. So hey, thanks Cuomo, you did something good.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
And also
I
he's
disagree.
trying to like. Why do you disagree?
I just feel like in general, I feel like the government just really failed. And I don't think like, you know, simple things like, okay, like let's just, you know, like let's cut school is a pat on the back. Like there's so many other things that are going wrong that they have the power to do something about.
Well,
like they have the power to not allow only people who are like severely sick to just fucking die and not die, right? There's people who
I hear you.
Wait, but I didn't finish my
but
point.
like that's mostly the president's fault though.
But I didn't finish my point.
All right, go on, please. Anyways.
Go ahead.
But it's not. I don't feel like it's just the president. I feel like it's a communal act. That's a communal job. Like everybody has like things that they need each other for in the government. Like it's not just the government. You know, it's one say so over all say so. I feel like everybody has an input, and I just feel like as far as damn, y'all just really trying to get the word in.
What?
I'm just saying, like. It just seems like they not doing anything to really help nobody. I just feel like, yeah, cutting the school, great. Amen. You want a pat on the back? Like, that's not a big thing.
Cuomo,
No,
he's
that's
not
completely fair to feel that way.
That's
honestly.
fair. That's fair to feel that way. But the thing is, like, Cuomo only has control over New York. He doesn't have control over. He only has control over certain things that can happen in New York. He's literally trying to up like the fact of like people who are in quarantine, like people who are in the hospitals, and he's trying to get like the medical care for many people, the respiratory systems for many people, and etc. Like he's trying what he can. Thing is, the government, like the US, DC, Washington, they're not on par. Like there's only so much that the governor can do versus
I know, but I still don't feel like New York is doing anything. I mean, look at in China, they were spraying down the streets and going door to door to people's houses, making sure that if whoever had a fever was transported out. That's what I'm saying. And they're not doing that in New York City. If we're talking about New York City, we're not doing that in New York City. They're not. This is that new epicenter of, besides Italy, this is one of the new epicenters of this virus. And I don't feel like they're doing the proper measures to fix it. I do feel like, yeah, thank you for getting out of the school, but my mother works for the school and school aides still have to go into work. So it's not like he's doing a big ass job by not letting these kids go to work. He's letting the people who are more vulnerable still go to work.
Alright. May I start on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So again, if you want to pull out the example of, what was that? China pulling people out of their homes if they're infected? Was that it? That was one of them?
Yeah.
Alright. We as, like, a country have a vague understanding of, like, personal autonomy. So, like, if you are isolating yourself, you are doing more for this country than you can possibly ever do. Like, hospitals are overwhelmed. Our supplies are overwhelmed. If you can stay home because you have like the mildest case of this and can heal yourself, that's good. Transporting you adds like logistical issues to infecting, the EMTs transporting you or like anyone on the way. Like it makes less sense here. And like honestly, I don't want to praise the Chinese government's approach because they kind of lied about it for months, saying it wasn't a big deal until it got way too out of hand and they were forced to actually take action. Like, sure, the one thing we should be doing is like calling on FEMA. Like we have emergency resources for like giving people food, like making sure they're fine, making sure you all have your basic needs to live, but we're not doing that, and that's because like politics is both annoying and slowing down things we need. So yes, I would agree that like all of the governments are not doing everything they can, but it's like even if there are people who want to do something, like even if a Cuomo is like, yo, we would like to have federal aid right now, it still needs to be like pushed up the chain of command. There are people in the way to like provide those supplies to help us as a state in the first place. And like you take that problem and you multiply it by 50. Because this entire country has this problem.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Right, but that still
we are like a good bit over time. I'm sorry, I don't want this to go on for another hour. But I think we all expressed our opinions, and I don't want it to go on for too long. Rain, I think you were in charge of putting things out.
Yep. Thank you for tuning in for Fight. We'll be back on Wednesday at 2:30 Eastern Time. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you wash your hands. Stay home. Stay safe. Stay clean. Make sure keep those masks on. Keep those gloves on. If you're gonna be going outside, use hand sanitizer all times if you can. And make sure and just be a good person and try not to spread hate because it's the most time where people are in unnerved and very like unracked and stuff like that. So if you could just be a good civilian to other people and just love one another at this very, very hard moment, that would be just great. And I hope everyone has a great, nice day.
Cool.
Yes.
Thank you so
Bye bye,
much.
everyone.